We're live. How y'all doing, guys? Oh my God. All right, so I've been thinking a lot about the way I've been kind of doing my thing here on YouTube and everything. So a quick kind of synopsis is, as some of you guys know, I mean, my whole life has been music for whatever, 20, 30 years, and if not more. And a couple of years ago, I got really sick, and I put on a lot of weight, and I was kind of in a funk, and I started on this path of health. So I've lost this 100 pounds, and I'm regaining my health, but in the interim of all of that, I kind of lost my focus with music, and I lost some of my way with it, and was just not as excited. I was still working every day, making records, teaching voice, playing guitar, but I don't know if I'd say my heart wasn't into it, but my mind was definitely not as crazy as it used to be, and I really put my focus on weight loss and fitness and health, and trying to overcome all the stuff, because I was really messed up, very, very sick. I'd gotten pneumonia, and I spent 3 months in bed, and I got 2 little kids and a wife, and it was time to get it together. So what I tried to do was I tried to kind of bridge this world of music producer, guitar player guys that follow me on YouTube, on my youtube.com/James Lugo, my main YouTube, my big YouTube account, or my big YouTube channel, that have been following me for years, installing SSLs and, shooting out Marshall amps and, mixing records and tracking drums and microphones and, going to Blackbird and going to, Abbey Road and, kind of my escapades making records and being a voice coach and a songwriter and a guitar player. So I had this idea that I was going to, combine it with the fitness and weight loss and CrossFit and paleo and all that, because I had originally started a YouTube for just my weight loss, which I had no subscribers, I had nobody on it, and I was trying to build it, and it just wasn't really happening. And I think that's youtube.com/revolutionhealthy. And about 3 months ago, I just was like, man, I give up. I've got 6,000 subscribers over here. I've got millions of views. Let me just, make it all jive, make it easy, simplify my life. And so I start, I've got all these thousands of people that have been watching me because of installing SSLs and shooting out mics and mixing records and tracking guitars and amps and pickups and, audio mixing, guitar nerd people. Not nerd in a bad way. If you're a nerd like I'm a nerd, then that's a compliment. But music people, and a lot of them were like, "What's going on with all this? You talking about kickboxing and lose weight." And a couple of people over the last couple of months said, "Hey, you're not putting out any more videos about the studio or mixing or Pro Tools or any of this stuff. All you're doing is putting, what's going on?" And a couple of people even were like, "You should get a separate account for just for your fitness thing." And I totally didn't take offense to any of it. It was, a couple times I'd respond and I said, I tried it and it was just like, not really happening. And anyway, needless to say, I've officially thrown in the towel with this concept. So my YouTube, my youtube.com/James Lugo, my music YouTube, I just took all of the fitness content that I've put up over the last 3 months. I unlisted it all. So it's not going to be, it's still there. Like if people know the links, or if somebody emails me and they're like, "Hey, I want to watch that podcast about you and this," you can still watch them, but they're not listed on there anymore. I didn't make them private. You can just do unlist, just to clean it up. So it's back to like music. It ends with me doing like pickup shootouts about 2 months ago with P basses and jazz basses with quarter pounders. It's back to that. There's a podcast on there with Dave Friedman and all this stuff. So that's it. So that's where I'm at. somebody hit me up. I think I posted up from last night. I did a show with Beth Narvez, who's awesome, and it was about, you know, coming out of ruts and fit and weight loss and all that stuff. And a guy's like, "Hey man, like, what's going on? Like, why? I don't, you know, it's like, I'm basically, I don't care about this, and, you know, I follow you because of what you do and this other thing." So I thought, all right, he's right. So basically, I've cleaned it off. I've cleaned up some things on my James Lugo website. I have a separate thing for fitness, which is going to be youtube.com/ I think it's Revolution Healthy now. And then there's revolutionhealthy.com website. And I've got content up there. So I'm going to, in the next few days, kind of ding that up and just start doing my fitness over there, and only music on my James Lugo site. And I think it's going to be better. And honestly, I'm really into it. Like the last couple of years, I still do my best to do a good job and to be focused, and I'm going to show up, and my talent didn't really diminish, but my mind was on getting healthy, because I got 2 little kids, and I was really sick and fat, and blood pressure and pre-diabetic and sleep apnea and knee surgery and bursitis and all this stuff going on. So I had to tend to it. But now I've got it in a place where I'm healthy, and my life now is to find this balance. And I've discussed this with a few people, which I've never been a person that's been very good at balancing. Like, for me, it's like, if I'm focused on, like, let's put it this way. At about 13, 14 years old, I just cashed in everything on guitar. My whole life was like guitar and Ace Frehley and, Alex Lifeson and Eddie Van Halen and Jimi Hendrix. And it was like, I just played guitar like I had no, in a lot of ways I didn't have like a normal childhood, because I was alone playing guitar, and 8 hours a day scales, and then Yngwie came out, Paul Gilbert, and it just got worse. And then I moved to LA, and when I was 22, I walked into a karaoke bar, and I sang, and people really liked it. And I was like, oh, this is very cool. Like, if I could do this, and you don't have to carry gear, sign me up. And then, like, from that day on, I never practiced guitar again. I came to this conclusion in my mind that I was as good a guitar player as I was ever going to be. I wasn't Yngwie, I wasn't Eddie Van Halen. I was very good at what I did, but, that was it. That was as far as the virtuosity went with guitar. And literally the door went clunk and shut. And then I sang 10 hours a day for years, like a nutcase, I wanted to sing like Steve Perry and Robert Plant and Sammy Hagar and Brian Johnson. So then started that whole journey. And that's kind of what my life's been. And then I kind of ran to the end of there, and I really got into production and mixing and, Pro Tools and plugins and EQs, and learn about this, learn about that. And then I just completely went crazy. I moderate gear sluts. I was like total, you guys know I'm crazy. So the same thing. So then 2 years ago, literally next week, August 1st, 2015, I was 275 pounds, and I was bedridden, and I just gave up. I just said, all right, I don't know what I'm doing. I need help. And it started the journey. And for the last 2 years, nothing's mattered but that. Like, it's all been just like, learn about paleo and fasting and CrossFit and boxing and, supplements and, whatever. Everything. Like, what's the best water to drink, and, vitamins, and, oh man, crazy. Vegan, learning about everything, right? Cool. But now I'm sitting at the precipice of a new day. I have to now balance this. Because about a month or so ago, I started really getting back into mixing. And I was really, I was like, I wanted to redo the studio. I wanted to get rid of some stuff I don't need anymore. These UAD plugins, I'm telling you, stuff is ridiculous. I don't need all this excess hardware. So I was like, well, you know what I'll do? I'm going to sell all this. I'm going to sell a lot of this hardware. I just don't want it anymore. I don't need it. And I want to get out of credit card debt. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of being buried in debt. so that I can have like, I just don't need it anymore. I don't desire it. And on a side note on that, when you're 300 pounds, you're gluttonous. And what happens is when you start to lose weight, you realize that you're gluttonous in other areas of your life. And for me, it's been spending and equipment and hoarding guitars. And, anybody that knows me knows I'm crazy, right? I'm not as crazy as John McBride because I don't have as much money as him. But if I had as much money as John McBride, I would own frickin' Blackbird, or whatever, I would be that's how crazy I am. But about 3 or 4 weeks ago, I really started going, oh man, I was getting back into the bug. I'm watching Pure Mix videos. I'm like remodeling the studio. I'm like, we're going to redo this. My mixing was getting better every single day. Focused. And you know what happened? My food started getting sloppy. And I put on a few pounds. Not a big deal. I'm a ninja at losing weight. But realizing like, oh man, I'm still like it's like the same thing like when I was 22 and I just shut the door on guitar and I wanted to be Jeff Tate. It's the same thing. It's like all of a sudden I'm like, oh my God, I want to be a better mixer and I want to get into production. I want to get the studio going. I want to do, and then it was like, oh yeah, and by the way, let's order Jet's Pizza. But that's it. I'm on point right now for the first time in my life at 2 things at one time. Well, there's a bunch of them. I mean, I got my kids. I mean, I'm Mr. Mom. I got my wife. Like, I handle the house now. I'm not being the way I used to be, which was like, in outer space in my own world all the time. Now I'm like really present, into it. Dude, I'm a freaking Cub Scout leader now. I have a den. I'm a wolf. I'm going to be the wolf leader. But my point being is that now I have to now I'm juggling, or not juggling, but now I'm balancing my music and my passion for recording and mixing and playing guitar and all these things that I love, and I'm balancing it with still eating well, getting up in the morning, going to the gym, and I'm doing them simultaneously. And today is day 2. Yesterday I got up and I just, the day before I had like this like kind of epiphany, out of body experience, come to Jesus moment, as they say, about myself. And I'm like, come on, Lugo, man, come on, man, you can do this. And I made a commitment to go to Fit Factory. It's kind of a CrossFit boot camp thing. I went there yesterday. I did the 6 a.m. class, or the 5:15, 6 a.m. class. And I ate good all day. And I came back, and Johnny, my assistant, and another guy that's been working here with us now, Jameson, we finished off the studio. We moved the patch bay. We ran wireless internet. We cleaned up. We got rid of, there was like, we had a whole colony of spiders back there. We pulled everything out. I mopped everything. We labeled all the cables. We finished everything off. We ran all the cabling for the Kemper and all the DIs and finished it off. It's perfect. And we tested everything, opened mixes, everything was opening, everything was working, passing signal, checked all the mic lines, everything's set. So I got a keyboard here, I got my keyboard that I teach with, and I got the Huey all working. Like, I did it all. And I kept my food together and I worked out. I got up this morning and I did the right thing, man. I worked out with my kids. I also handled my checkbook, called clients. Then I went and I had to buy them Lego, whatever the hell, Dimensions. It was I was like, you got to do things as a dad like that, right? And then I came back and I taught, and this dude that messaged me about this podcast that I did with fitness on the James Lugo site last night, which might I add was an excellent podcast with my friend Beth Narvaz, who's an amazing person, and she's lost like 100 pounds. He was kind of like, he was super nice about it, but he said something like, hey man, when are you going to start, I don't know, he said something about like, when are you going to start doing like studio videos again, man? Like, now he's not the first person that said this, but it was something about the way he put it, and honestly, he put it in a nice way. a lot of people on the internet and on YouTube and Facebook, they come across really rough around the edges. And I always think to myself, if you were standing in front of me, you wouldn't talk to me this way. You're safe. You're home behind a keyboard, and you can come at people that way, but you wouldn't do that in person. If you ran into me in the halls of AES, you wouldn't talk to me this way. But he was very nice. He was very cool. He was very honest, and it kind of. I was like, oh man, all right, that's it. I gotta fix this up. So I thought about it a little bit, and I just did it. I took every video. I think I've already talked about this, but I'm recapping. I took every video that was on my YouTube/James Lugo site, all the videos about weight loss and working out and CrossFit and paleo and intermittent fasting, all that stuff. I took every one of those videos and I unlisted it. The videos are still live. If anybody wants to watch them, you can always email me. I'll shoot you a message. All the great stuff with Beth Narvaz. I think what I'm going to do is download it all and put it up onto the Revolution Healthy site, because there's so much great information. But what I have to do is I have to apply myself. I can't be lazy. And I've got this youtube.com/revolutionhealthynow, and that's all about weight loss and regaining your health and diabetes and getting in shape and CrossFit and playing tennis and all my stuff. I have to build that audience separate from this, and I'll move that content over. It'll take me a couple of weeks, but it will all be over there. I also went into my YouTube channel. I changed the artwork. I changed my profile picture. I debugged it, so now when I go up, I push it up on Facebook, it's back to like, rock and roll, mixing, Pro Tools, UAD, American guitars. So that's my commitment. First and foremost to myself. Second of all to the people that this is their thing, man. And I don't think that I would dig it if it was the other way. Like let's say I'm following some dude about fitness, and all of a sudden he's putting up videos about like fixing cars. Like I'm not into cars. Like it would kind of bum me out. So whoever it was that said something, thank you. It was right. A couple of people have said it over the last few weeks. I've been getting a little bit of flack from some people. But I get it. It's all good. It's all good in the hood. You guys were right. So we're gonna start this. I'm leaving now for Philadelphia to go make a record. And the studio is set up. Let me turn the lights on. The studio is now set up to really do podcasts and do product videos and amp shootouts and mixing tutorials, and we can bring in other mixers and bring in guitar players and do we're going to do a little amp shootout here in about 2 weeks. That's freaking bright. Let me see what's going on here. Gotta kind of dim that down a little bit. Not really sure. Oh, we're going to work on this. But all right, so so Saturday. I think I put it down as Saturday. Where are my glasses? Where are my readers? Yes. So this Saturday, 3 p.m. Central, which is 4 p.m. Eastern, 1 p.m. Pacific. I'm going to do the James Lugo show on the YouTube live, youtube.com/James Lugo. I'm also going to do simultaneously, I'm going to run it on Facebook Live. So it'll be on both of them. And it's going to be basically a studio rundown. It's going to be a rundown of everything that we've redone, kind of going through it all, and maybe even a little bit on the new mix template, which might I add it's incredible. The mix template, I learned a lot from that puremix.net, man. That's insane what they're teaching on there. So I'll show you some of the stuff. Fab DuPont is fantastic. Andrew Sheps, Mark Needham, Ben Lindell or whatever. They're just, it's fantastic. So this coming Saturday, which is the 29th, 3 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Pacific, we're going to be running live, and it's going to be just music. And again, on my James Lugo, my youtube.com/James Lugo, I've unlisted all the health, fitness, weight loss stuff. I'll migrate that over to the other one, which is already up. I think it's youtube.com/revolutionhealthynow. Revolution Healthy Now. So that will that but I'm not worried about that. I want to first like clean this mess up. So that's it, and I'm very excited. So here's like kind of a little quick on the studio. I wonder if we can, how you do this. Can you flip this? Let me see if I can flip this. Oh yeah, look at that. Oh wait, hold on. Okay, so I can flip it and then I can look out the back. Okay. Except now you can see the stand. Hold on. Kind of new at this. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Okay. So, there it is. I got it. Okay, cool. All right, so this is the new setup, and I am really so excited. And like I said, I've got some lights, so lighting will get better. And I think the YouTube, I'll run that off my laptop because I think the resolution is better. But I'll run the Facebook Lives off of this iPad, and now that I have wireless internet, I can just grab anything and move it anywhere. No more being stuck to the wall thing. So there's 14 pre's, my Neves and down the line for drums, guitars, vocals. I kept my Rev F 1176. I think it's so gorgeous. And I traded my Toaster Kemper for a rack mount Kemper, and there's the Punch 10. And then everything is here. So I got rid of a little bit of hardware, but I ended up keeping a bit of hardware, and I'm still hybrid. Though I will tell you, those universal audio plugins and all this slate and all that, fab filter, and that stuff's just fantastic. And drum roll, please. I got a lava lamp. I'm official. And I got Legos that my kids made. So yeah, I got the lava lamp. So there it is. So we'll go through this kind of more official. The way I set up guitars is so awesome. You just plug into there, and it takes you into the guitar amps, takes you into the Kemper, and then it also takes you into all the DIs and reamping. So it's literally everything's just click now, click and play. It's rocking these K-Rocks, which is very strange for me. I don't know, man. They're cool. I don't know where I'm going to go with it. I'm not worried about it right now. I like them. I mean, it seems weird to like, because I've always been like more of an Adams guy. But anyway, there it is. So the other thing that's cool. Let me see if I can go back to the other way. Here we go. The other thing that's going to be different about these videos compared to all the years of all the other amp shootouts and all the guitar stuff and the mixing and SSL is that for the first time, I'm going to be consistently actually on camera, because at 300 pounds, man, I wanted to be the cameraman, so I narrated everything. And a number of people always said, "Why aren't you in your videos? Like, why I don't, I didn't want to be in the videos, man. I would see myself in video and I'd be like, whoa." So. And now I'm back into losing weight, so everything will thin out. It's all working. It's all for a reason, man. And I needed to take that 2 years away from worrying about guitars and amps and mixing and Pro Tools and all this junk, this stuff. I needed to take a break. I needed a season of let's get healthy, let's get centered, let's figure this out. Because my food was so out of control and I was so depressed and I was just a wreck, man. I mean, I was a wreck. I was pissed off and I was mad at myself. You know what I mean? I was radiating all over the place and I was spending money gluttonously. I was eating gluttonously. I was just tearing through it. Tearing through it all, man. Hoarding guitars and I don't need that anymore. This is it. This is simple. This is way simpler. And I'm happier. And the mixes I've been doing the last few days are the best mixes I've ever done. It's getting better. I don't need all that. I don't need all that, man. I just don't need all that. It's overkill. I mean, I've still got a ton of guitars and stuff, but most of my guitars are cheapies. I buy a lot of Japanese Fenders and Epiphones, and I've got a bunch of Dan Electros and cheap Gretches. I like cheaper guitars. I only have literally two expensive. Well, I got a Taylor and a Martin acoustics, but I've got a nice Les Paul Standard. I've got an American Telecaster, and the rest of it's all kind of lower end stuff. So I trick them out myself, buy pickups, make them sound nice. I don't know. I just can't bring myself to spending $4,000 on a guitar. It's not my bag. But there it is. So youtube.com/James Lugo is going to be music and singing and production and mixing and guitars. And the YouTube Revolution Healthy Now will be about all the other stuff. Fitness, weight loss, lifting weights, push-ups, paleo. There you have it. So Saturday, 3 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Pacific. We're going to go live on both and kind of announce it, and like, that's it. It's out. And I cleaned up my YouTube account. It's just back to focused on music. It was good. It was like an experiment. I really thought it was going to totally be cool, but it really wasn't. And I started to kind of realize it. I was like, oh my God. You know why, too? I follow a bunch of fitness guys. And after you do like 100 videos about calisthenics and eating vegan, you pretty much don't have anything else to say. I mean, after like 2 of them, you probably don't have much to say. But you can milk it out for a while. But everybody gets to this point where it's like they're kind of out of it, and then they all drift in another direction. Then all of a sudden, they start putting out videos about how to build your online business, or how to invest in Bitmap, or what, I don't even know what Bitmap is, but it's one of the dudes that I used to follow. He's like some paleo guy. All of a sudden, now all his videos are about stocks and stuff, and then another guy that I followed, all his videos now are about like building your online business and all this stuff, and how to get how to become a influencer, they call it whatever. This whole YouTube thing is a little bit much for me. I do what I can that I'm comfortable with, but these guys putting out they're putting out like 2-3 videos a day sometimes. It's like nobody has that much to say. I mean, I put out a video try to do like maybe once a week or whatever. It's like this. It becomes the same either way, but I mean, it's like every day. It's like, geez. I remember my buddy wrote a book on singing. It was like 500 pages long, and I'm thinking to myself, 500 pages about singing? Like, singing to me is simple. Like, I mean, freaking explain it. I don't know. It's just not the way I view singing. And then like 2 years later, he came out with another book that had like accompanying workbook that was like another 500 pages. And I'm thinking to myself, in the last 2 years, you learned another 500 pages of stuff about singing? Whoa, okay. It's got to be using a lot of adjectives. I don't know. Anyway, Saturday, 3 p.m. Central, 1 p.m. Pacific. We're going to go through the whole new setup here. We're going to get our heads focused on music, focused on making records, focused on playing some guitar, singing, mixing. Love them. I'm telling you, man, these new plugins. Jeez Louise. That UAD Mag EQ. That's just crazy, man. That's like there's some voodoo in there. Anyway, I gotta go to Philly, like now.